Hi, how are you? Hello again, here we are. I don't want to say it, but I know you're thinking it. Back with another banger. We're back with another banger today. I have wanted to do this video for so long, and I finally put it on my calendar. I put time to plan it. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Okay, well, all right. My scarf is going to be in here with us. I put it in my calendar. I put time to plan it. I put time to film it. And now here we are. We are doing my top 3 eyeshadow palettes in every category. I'm so excited. Once I gave myself the time to do it and go through my things, this is actually so fun to pick out all of my stuff. I found something that I wanted to wear. I'm wearing it today. Spoiler alert. The YouTuber that I saw first do this was Hiiiiiiiii. She has a makeup channel that is fabulous. She loves a bit of color. She loves a bit of color. She loves a bit of eyeshadow. I saw her do this tag and I thought it was fabulous. I've added an extra category because I wanted to, and let's get into it. So first category is going to be my top 3 neutral palettes. I have an honorable mention. I'm already cheating. This one, the Kathleen Lights. I decorated it. It came with stickers for you to decorate it. How cute. This is the Il Makiage. I think it's called the Disco Fox palette. Yeah. And it's just lovely. The whole presentation, lovely. I love this reflective pinky bronze. I think it's beautiful. All of these shadows are so pretty. I don't think you can get this anymore, but I'll swatch a little bit for you because I'm kindly. This is from me doing my makeup, okay. But it just has so many toasty, wonderful colors, and then this pop of like purpley blue. So if you ever find yourself in the mood for a neutral palette and you don't want to get bored, try and find something like this, like neutral with a pop of color. It's cute. That's my honorable mention. It's not in this video. Don't worry about it. Okay, so my first pick is maybe my favorite. This is the Makeup by Mario Ethereal Eyes Palette. It's warm neutrals. It is super shiny, glossy, glitters. It's just so beautiful. It's easy to work with for natural looks, for more impactful looks. They all have this undercurrent of soft warmth to them, a little bit of neutrality. It's just a really nice palette. Second one is my Vive Essential palette. You can see my little grubby fingerprints all over it. Okay, first of all, the design of this, right? Has a nice, oh God, has a nice big mirror, also with my grubby fingerprints on it. But what you can do is fold it all the way back and it makes a little prop. It props up your eyeshadow if you want to just have it sitting on your desk or your vanity. It's great. These colors, fabulous. This mustardy one, all of these shimmers, they're gentle but sparkly at the same time. You have a nice, really light shade to have a lot of contrast with your looks. You have this cool brown and a warm chocolatey brown. I just think this is like very well thought out. And this is a way to present neutrals in a way that doesn't look boring. It looks really vibrant and exciting. I am excited every time I get to use this. I think it's really quite beautiful. The Vive Essentials palette. And it's nice and big. And this, okay, this actually might be my real true favorite. The Makeup by Mario is like, it's so foolproof in my opinion. But this one, I love this palette. This is from Melt Cosmetics and it's their Mary Jane palette. I love this. Excuse me. I never noticed this until months after having this, but you have these different sections of nude, unctuous, deep colors. You have this olive toned section. You have a more gray, taupey, minky nude section. Then you have a warm nude section. They really did the hell out of this. I mean, these shimmers are so like pillowy. Look at this. I don't understand any criticism of this palette. I don't hear it. I don't hear it. I don't feel it. I don't welcome it into my psyche. It's beautiful. It is so beautiful. You want to talk about another palette that makes colors, I think, that are largely thought of as purely functional, not really nice to look at. Why do people think that about browns? I love brown. I love brown. This is so gorgeous. This is really a celebration of neutral colors. So I think Mary Jane is my number one. Mary Jane is my number one pick. I'm going to tell you right now, my hands are going to be covered in sparkles, so we're all just going to ignore it, okay? This is so fun. I knew this was going to be fun for me, but I didn't know I was going to have like this much fun talking about eyeshadow. My next three. These are my top three colorful / rainbow palettes. This one is the dark rainbow that I have been dreaming about. This is from Viseart, and this is their dark matte palette. You want to talk about a celebration for deep dark eyes? I love this. This is like if you have a palette that has a bunch of pops of color, or if you have a palette that's only glitter, you know, you pull that out when you want to add a little zazz. This is the pops of color palette, but at the opposite end of the spectrum, the deep dark end, the unctuous end. This is so beautiful if you want to add some richness and depth to your looks and you still want to keep it creative and colorful, or you're doing a neutral look with one of the palettes that we just talked about and you want to add a little something. This is the perfect palette if you are into like vibrant colors, but you still want them to be grounded. It is a perfect palette if you are maybe afraid of using color. I don't understand, but I respect that you are here. Your opinions are valid. I'll swatch these greens too. Like, it just adds so much to my looks and so much to my collection. And I was like, this is just so beautifully laid out as well. There's so many nuances to these colors. I could talk about this for days. Viseart, they really did something with this one, their dark matte palette. Okay, this one, we have to talk about Melt. Again, Melt, for the second category in a row, this is their Muerte palette. Muerte. This one is actually, I have another one. Have I ever even used or swatched this one? I don't think so. I have another one. This was a more recent purchase of mine because I have an older one. But when this came out, it was just like a color story we had never seen. And I still open this and feel excited when I see these colors together presented in this way. I'm going to swatch this for you for the first time. This one's being touched. Touched. Honey, this is the story of a girl. It is just so beautiful. It is still such a beautiful, interesting color story. I love the Melt formula for their shimmers and their mattes. I just love this palette. I think I could wear this right now. I need to bust this out. This is what this video is for, to remind me how much stuff I have in my collection that I love. Here we are, I'm covered in eyeshadow. We knew it was gonna happen. Okay, and then last for my top three of the colorful and rainbow palettes is this one, Blend Bunny Surge. I feel like this has made the top three of many a list, but this is just sick. You have this black, gray, white area. You have all of your matte colors. You have these like weird greens, weird blues, gorgeous lavender. God, I am kind of the lavender police. You know what? Let me do it on this hand. Look at that. So pretty. And then you have the shimmers. You have the deep dark colors that I love. Another row of pops of deep dark colors. And then you have these legit neon colors. These show up so well. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, I put that right across my bones. Look at that. They are so good. This palette is really fun. It's fun to look at. It's fun to be inspired by. I did a look that I loved with these neons down here with this whole palette. I was just like, I feel like a little race car in this look. I wish I had done my hair in this picture, but I didn't. This palette is the tea. It is so pretty. It is endlessly inspiring. And you can calm it down if you want to with this little row in the corner right here. You can have a little bit of neutral, but you can have a lot of fun with color with this palette. Next are my top 3 monochromatic palettes. We gotta start it off strong with the Nighttime Realness palette from Trixie Cosmetics. This is the palette of blues. So pretty, so fun. The outside of it looks like a little TV with a little static, what do they call it? Snow. If you ever had your cable canceled, this is what it looked like. This is so lovely. It definitely has the vibe of what I'm wearing today. You look at it and you think blue, but there's actually so much nuance to the blues in here and the grays. You have this sort of charcoal gray. You have this, you can't really tell in the palette because the backing of it is this pinky lavender. It's really beautiful. But you have this gray that's like that has some lavender in it. A very nice color. So you have a couple of neutrals in here, corner bookended, these grays, this shimmery pewter kind of color, this white. I mean, it's really something. These colors, the silvery and then this more like crystal white, like shimmer for the inner corner. Oop, oh, I just jammed my finger into it. I'm very sad about that. Look at what I did. Anyway, that's that color. If you think that's beautiful, that is the color infomercial. If you have brown eyes, this would be so beautiful on you. I can't believe how hard I just jammed my thumb into that. A little bit depressing, but look at that. It's like a periwinkle lavender. A lot of pretty blues in there. A lot of pretty colors in there. Next, I would definitely call this monochromatic. To me, to my eye, this one screams green to me, like deep, weird green. And this is the Stone and Rock palette from Odin's Eye. And how nuts beautiful is this? Is this just like nuts beautiful or what? I mean, this green has repeatedly caught my eye, caught my attention, made me say hi, hello. This green, I feel like you don't see a green like this. Like a deep, dark, almost like snake scales, bottle green. It's something that really challenges me because I think that olive greens are not immediately flattering on me, but I just love this palette so much. It also has neutrals if you want to take it more into a bronze area, but this palette really sings green to me, but it's also getting points for versatility for the black, the white, the bronze, the pewter charcoal colors, and then these pops of like strange, dark, mysterious green. Okay. And then this one, I mean, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, that's my like Rainbow Bright Shy Violet. This is Shy Violet in a palette. I had a Shy Violet doll, by the way, when I was little because I had gigantic glasses too. So this is the ABH Norvina, let's see, Pro Pigment Palette, Volume 5. Oh, come on, man. This is so pretty. If you are my skin tone and my coloring, every one of these colors would look so beautiful on you. If you have dark brown eyes, every one of these colors would look so beautiful on you. Hazel eyes, green eyes, whatever. This is just a palette full of flattering, sexy colors. You have lavenders, you have plums, you have these eggplant colors over here. You have a weird mustard that just goes with everybody, every eye color, everything. You have bronzes, coppers, but they all have this sort of through line. They all go with lavender and purple. They all have some element that is either lavender or goes with lavender. Every single color in here goes with any other color in here. That's what I love about it. It's versatile, it's interesting, it's textured. This is the way to do a monochromatic palette and keep it interesting and still on theme. I wish for no edits with this palette. I love this palette. I love the way it looks. I think it's so inspiring. Oh God, it's gonna close on my hand. I don't want it to. Thank you. We avoided that. Avoided disaster. Okay, this is the category that I added for myself, and this is my favorite pastel palettes. So this is a Swedish brand that I had never heard of until I started looking around on some like indie makeup videos on YouTube. This is a palette from a brand called Gloss Gods, and it's called What's Your Power? I don't know if this is still available, but maybe they have something similar if it's not. This is so gorgeous. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, that's neon, but it's pastel. Okay. No, it isn't. It's like pastel neons. That's what it is. They have cornered the market on an interesting way of doing pastels. You see, they have a neon element, but they are definitely pastel. And these shimmers, girl, the shims. Okay, I did that in such a weird spot. Can you? These shimmers, unreal. It looks really vibrant. It is really vibrant. It's very vibrant, fun, and gives neon, but it is truly pastel. And I think that's a really fun thing that they did. They made neons pastel. So I love it. I love looking at it. I'm very inspired when I see it. Next is, this is cheating. Okay, this is cheating, but also I think of this palette and I think of pastel. This is the Peach Perfect palette from Gourmand Girls. And there are some dark colors in here. Okay, I'll give you that. There are some vibrant doobie-doos. But overarchingly, what I feel about this palette is the pastel of it all. They have pastels with strange undertones. They managed to do like peach and green and make it interesting, make the colors work together. Like peach and green in my head, I don't like those together. Or orange and green, I don't like those together. But they have presented it in this way that just is magic. This pastel olive green, a pastel mint, a pastel kind of concrete green. These peaches, this palette is correct. And what they did was create a color story that I didn't know that I wanted. And I think that that is very rare. I was so excited when this palette came out, and I'm so glad to have it. And last but not least, I'm going to take it out of the box because I keep it in the box because I like the way it looks and I don't want it to get messed up. I took this on vacation with me, and this is the Natasha Denona Pastel Palette. This is lovely. So beautiful. It looks like ice cream. What I love about this is that this is not only a pastel palette, but it is also a pop of color palette. So I had my neutral palette with me on vacation, and then I had this, and every day I just added a little bit of color from this, whatever I was feeling. Sometimes I just wanted green. Sometimes I wanted a little periwinkle. I just did it for me, okay? This was so nice to have as a companion to using other palettes, and it's just beautiful. It looks like sprinkles on a cake or something. It's really inspiring to look at, and I just love the way that they did this. For me and the way that I do my makeup, this really works for me. And I'm putting it back in the box. Should I do this? Should we flip the hair for the next category? Why not? Side part on the other side for the next category. The next category is my favorite mini or small palettes. And I have this one from Natasha Denona. Let's start with it. Let's go from Natasha to Natasha. This is the mini pastel palette. I love this one. You want to talk about, okay, another pop of color palette that is also very inspiring to look at. I just love this. I also had this with me on vacation. It's so cute and interesting. This pink can go really neutral, or it can go really pink depending on what you're wearing it with. This goldy green, unbelievable. This blue this like shimmery blue. Ooh, that little delicate, the delicate finger that I just did. Okay. This green, I love this green. I love this green. How stunning is it? And then you have like a slightly deeper ocean blue. This is stunning. Another really inspiring tiny little palette. I think this could go with you anywhere, could go along with any other palette. Maybe you have a big palette like the Blend Bunny one, but then you have this along with it. I have gifted this. I just think this is so beautiful. This is like a very artist's eye kind of palette to me. I think this is just really special. And I love how tiny it is. It's a little pocket-sized wonder. So I don't think you could go wrong with this. This is very, very pretty. Okay, now this one. MAC doesn't carry this style anymore, but they do carry a burgundy mini palette that has some of these colors in it. But this is their Burgundy ×9 palette. And another gift to my eye color. Thank you so much. This is gorgeous. These burgundies, these sort of shifty, unctuous golds. I love using the word unctuous for eyeshadow. If it's creamy, if it's giving me something, all of these colors are so toasty and warm and neutral and beautiful all at the same time. This is a really sexy color story. The next time you want to channel a dark muse, bust out your burgundy. It's a very sexy palette. And I love how small it is. It's cute. And if you don't have any access to get this one, don't worry. Don't feel like you missed out. Or if you have burgundy in your collection, bust it out. It's hot girl burgundy, okay? And then last for my little tiny palettes is the LH Cosmetics Shimmer Saga palette. This is extraordinary. Now I'm realizing that I use the mini palettes for like little pops of something. Okay. This is, once again, for the creative spirit, the creative eye, any neutral palette, any colorful palette, you could take this along with you, add a little sparkle. You could add a little sparkle to just your eyelids with this. As you can see, it looks beautiful on bare skin. It's just stunning. This company really does special shades very well. The texture is really pretty. It's nice and light. The cover is like a little branch. Okay, the cover is all right, but what is awaiting you inside is a magical dip into fairyland. If you didn't know what to do with your look, I think this is a perfect thing, like that you could just dip into one or two of these colors, put it on your eye, rub it in, put on some mascara and hit it. If you wanted to feel a little special, this is a perfect like little special palette. Wow, I'm very excited to use my things. Last two categories. Okay, so first up I have the best drugstore inexpensive palettes. These are all ColourPop palettes. They have taken the world by storm. My first one up is actually the palette that I'm wearing, and this is their So Elemental palette. First of all, beautiful design, water, hello. Okay, I use this on my mom. She's a lot deeper than me. It looked stunning on her. I feel like an 80s corporate baddie that works at a record label. Like, I just feel gorgeous in this. You have so many different interesting textures. This blue up in the corner, it looks silver right now, but it's like, it's a really, it's like a silvery blue. It looks like water. It is stunning. This palette has a little bit of neutral, but a lot of blue. This looks gray, but it's actually a deep, sort of muted navy. I love the way they did the blues in this. A little bit of gray, watery blues with a lot of different textures. This is so, so pretty. You would not be sad at all, I think, if you had this palette. Next, another palette that I have in the box because it is so precious to me is the ColourPop Twilight palette. Are you joking? Are you joking? I flipped my ding dang lid when I saw this. Say what you want about Twilight, and I'll say what I want. I loved it. The movie is so weird and goofy, but also precious to my heart in every way. I loved reading these books. I loved watching the movies. This palette really speaks to the ethos of the first movie. It's blue, it's gray, it's forest green. This is like making me want to watch the first movie again. And also, like, I feel like they did, look at that. I feel like they did the release of this really well. They had a lot of interesting products all themed around the movies. The lip oils, the vampire skin body shimmer. Like, they really released a product line that was not only beautiful and functional and really interesting, but it was also for the fans. And so I love that. It's going back in its little sleeve. Thank you. And then last, this might be my favorite ColourPop palette that I've ever seen. God, is that true? I've had so many that I've loved. I just think they do a really nice color story, but this is very inspired. This is the Aurora Struck palette. Look at how pretty this is. So pretty. You have this neutral sort of cocoa pink column. You have a pinky purple. You have a greeny sort of slate blue. Then you have greens, taupes, muted teal, grays. This is meant to mimic the Northern Lights. This is the exact kind of palette that I love. I would wear this all year round. I love pastels. I love that it includes so many deep colors. This is a palette that you can have fun with forever. This is just such a beautiful color story to me. And so well presented. It's very pleasing to the eye. It's interesting. I also find myself looking at this in like 9pan sort of sections. You know, if you feel overwhelmed by a large palette like this, imagine different sections of it as smaller palettes. And I think that that's easier maybe to take in if you're not a total makeup head like me. Whatever kind of mood I'm in, I think this palette is really, really beautiful and just makes my eyes sing. I love it. And not that expensive. I keep looking at myself in the viewfinder because I love this makeup so much. Okay, so rounding out this maquillage video are my top 3 luxury eyeshadow palette picks. Let's start with one that this company releases some sort of version of this like every 6 months, 9 months, I don't know. But this is the one that I have, and it is the Lightworks 4 palette from Danessa Myricks. First of all, the outside of this, sexy. I love this. It's beautiful, it's colorful, it's interestingly textured. I love this middle row. I think a criticism of this palette was some people had trouble with all the different textures and how to use them and blah, blah, blah. I don't. This is the exact kind of thing that I like. I like it weird. I like the big pans that you can only use with water and the textures and the flakes and the this and the that. This is so beautiful to me. These greens, forget about all of it. So right now, these are looking green and blue to you. Right now they look pink and purple to me. These two, they look green and green. I look at them like this, they look purple and pink. You just have a lot of texture, a lot of variety, a lot of different ways that you can go with a palette like this. And also, this is a great palette to use with other palettes. This exact iteration isn't available anymore, but she releases these sort of special palettes all the time. They're usually limited edition and they're very expensive. This was $125. So like grab one if you're interested and don't worry about the rest, you know? But I love this one. I continue to love this one. Everything about it is inspiring to me. The outside, the inside, I think is gorgeous. And these two are from the same company. These last two, I'll do them together. These are from Natasha Denona. Maybe her first round of palettes. This is the green brown palette. I'm like, you're still the one. It's so toasty and beautiful. So many good textures in here. It's foresty, it's cozy. I wish it went a little deeper. That's my only critique about this, is I wish the colors went a little deeper, because I feel like you still do, or I still do, have to use something darker with this if I want a really potent look. And this is the other one. This is the purple blue palette. Filthy beautiful. Like, how unbelievably gorgeous is this? I love like blues that look like water. And this looks like a sparkling pool to me over here. Again, you have these sort of like bronzes into plums, purples. Then you have these like aquas, pastel blue right here, some silver, some charcoal, some skin tone-esque shimmers. I think these are... Would I recommend this to anyone? I mean, you have to sort of follow your own heart when it comes to makeup that you like. Do I think that I would recommend that anyone spend $236 or whatever it is on a palette? I don't think so. But also, like, with any sort of art supplies, like, you are the artist, you know? You know what you like. You feel the call to what you're inspired by. So with any of these palettes, luxury, drugstore, whatever, for me, leaning into my collection was the thing that made me feel good today. With any of these items, it's hard to say, because I think there's so much like peer pressure online when it comes to like, oh, you have this thing, I want it. I'm not gonna be the person that I wanna be without this particular thing. But that's not true. That's not true at all. These art supplies that I like to think of them as, they don't make you who you are. You are still the person with the self-expression. You use these to express yourself. You use whatever you want to express yourself. Wow, this got a little serious, but I think ending on like luxury palettes, I'm like, I love the stuff that I have. I love the lower price stuff. I love the higher price stuff. I love this stuff. But it doesn't mean that I think that everybody needs to have it, or I think you're missing something if you don't. So I hope that's inspiring to you to look into your own collection and see what you have if you're a makeup lover, or if you saw something here today and you're like, dang, I want to get that, then there's nothing wrong with that too. It's your money and you get to spend it how you want to spend it. But anyway, thank you so much for spending this time with me. I felt very good dipping into my stuff. I said it in this makeup video where I did this look, but getting ready for this whole video, picking out the things that I loved, inspired me to use the ColourPop So Elemental palette to do this look, because I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about this palette. I forgot how much I loved it when I did makeup on my mom. I forgot. So I think an exercise like this is really fun to do, to remember everything that I enjoy. Anyway, thank you for joining me here today. Thank you for popping on over to this corner of the internet where we are celebrating ourselves. Let me know what you want to see from me next, and I will see you in the next video. Later, skaters. I'm gonna go eat. I'm hungry.